Hi, this is Joe and I make videos. This is part 2 of the Turkey Dream commercial, and this is going to involve After Effects. And what we did in After Effects is I created this dream sequence here, and I was just going to guide you through kind of how it came together. I didn't record that. I started to record it, me building it from scratch, but sometimes I just need to not have the pressure of trying to get things and just play around a bit and learn. A lot of times when you're getting into After Effects, you don't exactly know step by step, at least for me, exactly how I'm going to do something. I just know I will. So sometimes it's just a matter of just playing around a bit and getting the feel of what I'm doing and kind of figuring it out. So anyway, here's what we did. Here is our dream sequence. Here was our elements. We had shots of our gentleman, various clips of him eating a turkey leg and me telling him constantly not to look at me for direction. Yeah, there we go. Several clips of him, just different ways that he's eating this turkey leg. And then, got kind of a camera follow along here. So anyway, the camera following him along. See, look at that. Yeah, freaking awesome. And then we got our turkey guy in the middle, and he's kind of doing, come into your turkey dream. Join me in the turkey dream, right? So, and then we have some colored smoke that I downloaded off of Motion Array. This right here. These actually didn't get used. I downloaded them, but they actually didn't get used. So yeah. So anyway, and then here's how the layers kind of worked out. We'll just turn some stuff off and start adding. Maybe that's the way to do things. Boom, 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 boom. Now that word is actually it's actually hidden. It's white on white. It doesn't matter. I'll explain what this is later, but let's pretend we just started with a black background. And then I just added the smoke and the sparkles, and you'll notice that I had to duplicate the layers because they weren't long enough, and then just threw them up there and then timed them so that the beginning of this one started with the end of that one, and you know where they loop correctly. And then I added a plugin called Particular, and Particular generates particles. And what it does is it generates particles, and I told it to use a layer of the timeline as the particle. And when you do that, it will generate hundreds of whatever that is. Well, I wanted to use a word. So I told Particular to use this layer, which is pre-composed. It's this composite right here, tryptophan. It's pre-composed, and it uses that layer as the particle. Well, another thing I did was I made the word kind of with a wave effect, do that. And then in Particular, you can tell it to use a randomly chosen frame from this composite, from this timeline, from this element to generate each particular particle. So there you have, boy, did that save you a lot of animation. Instead of animating all this individual stuff, is I told Particular to randomly choose a frame from this element. And since it's doing the wave, each word tryptophan is waved in a different way, but I also had it randomize the color of it, which is an option inside Particular as well. So I did that. And then we add the turkey in there, and the turkey is split into 2 layers, and let me tell you why. If you recall, I didn't shoot the turkey in front of a green screen because I didn't have one on me. I just shot it in front of a gray wall, and I did a very rough masking. But what I decided I wanted to do was have our guy rotate around him in 3D. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to solo these 2 layers, these 3 layers actually, so that you can see. Here's one clip of our guy eating a turkey leg, and what he does is he comes in front of the turkey's belly, but he'll go behind the turkey's head. And the way I did that is I split the turkey into 2 layers, and I have the guy rotation in between the 2 layers. So it's behind the turkey's head, but in front of the turkey's body. So then when we add the other turkeys in there, they all rotate around without going in front of the turkey's face. Now, what I did to make this movement, I'm going to solo just one of the guys right now, is to create that path. Let me click U here, and you can see what the keyframes for. If you hit the U key, it'll show you whatever keyframes are on the layers that change. It will not show you layers that don't have keyframes on them. So if you ever want to avoid trying to edit keyframes looking at all of the layers, yeah, just hit the U key. Boom. And it only shows the layers that change. So anyway, you'll see all these keyframes, but you'll also see all these extra keyframes. Well, what I did when I had this movement, it's really only one lap, but then I just copy and pasted keyframes to create lap after lap after lap, right? So then I duplicated this layer and made another guy one, but then using this drag and drop while holding the option on a Mac, I don't know what it is on a PC, you can replace guy 1 with guy 2. And I made, and what it is like guy 1 is just a video clip on a timeline by itself. Guy 2, video clip on a timeline by itself. Guy 3, also, guess what? Video clip, timeline by itself, but it's repositioned. And I'll tell you, and that right there actually is why I made them composites, because this shot was a lot tighter than the rest and wasn't framed the right way. But I had already built basically the template with one guy, right? So I did another guy. And what I did, extra keyframes, is I copied the keyframes from guy 1. Well, when I copied the layer, it copied the keyframes correctly, right? And then I just selected the keyframes, and I just shifted all the keyframes over so that the movements weren't on top of each other. They were delayed a bit. So that's how I did that. And then layer 3 does the same, and I'll offset them even more. So to offset the keyframes even more, so that now they danced around. And if you'll notice, guy 3 is our tighter shot that I squeezed in. And the reason why I did that is so that it fit in the same frame, there it is, that the others did. And his big mouth, I love that part of the shot especially. And he's just chewing on that turkey. So anyway, that's how I did that, and did that efficiently, is just duplicating this layer and then shifting some extra keyframes around. Just dragging all of them and moving them. Just selecting all of them by, selecting off a keyframe and then just shifting them around, and see how that does that. Yeah, well, I did that several times, and that saved me having to basically rebuild the movements for these clips 3 times. So then we have the turkey in the front, turkey in the back, we have the smoke, we have the sparkles, we have the tryptophan particles, and it looks kind of muddy right now. And the gray right here, I'm not a fan of that. And I could track the matte of that, or I could rotoscope. But why? Because I know I'm about to do this. I added the adjustment layer. And I kind of wanted to ghost around this guy anyway to separate our turkey from some of the background, just to make him pop a little more. So that's what that gray background kind of did for me. And then what I did was I added the shine effect, right? So I added the shine, which kind of made everything glow out. And then I added just Lumetri, making it pop, adding some white vignette. That was all Lumetri that did that, brightening it up. And there it is. And then what I did is I rendered that out. It took about 5 minutes, 40 seconds to render out. And then we dragged that into our Premiere timeline. And in the next video, we'll go through the Premiere timeline and watch as this spot starts coming together. Anyway, thanks for watching.